3 students abducted from Greenfield University in Kaduna State have been found dead. No word from the abductors, with over 20 others, which includes staff of the school, still missing. This is just one of the many insecurity incidents which remains a worry to Nigerians. When will this end? What is the backstory? Special Report talks insecurity in Nigeria for a second time. You're welcome. I'm Ini John Mekwa. Kidnap for ransom and attack on innocent villagers has been a worrisome trend in the northern parts of Nigeria. Collated data by the International Committee of Red Cross in Nigeria indicates that nearly 23,000 people are missing. It stands as the largest in Africa out of a total of 44,000 missing on the continent. It's the ICRC highest number recorded in any country in the world. Since December 2020, close to 1 million students have been abducted from schools in northwest Nigeria, highlighting a worrying development in the country's kidnap for ransom crisis. The kidnap of nearly 300 students from the Government Girls Science Secondary School in Jangebe, Zamfara State, which ended with their release, was the second mass kidnap from schools in less than 10 days.
In this moment, I am full of joy and happiness for seeing the safe returns of these my children. Since 11 o'clock in the morning, they are on the route to get where these children are. Since then, we are alive with all my securities and my people in the government waiting for the arrival of these blessed children. Alhamdulillah, now we have received you. The numbers were kidnapped is 279, and no one was missing.
Despite the fact that I have 2 children among the victims of this incident, not only them, there are other children among them who form part of my relatives, very close relatives for that matter. So you see, the issue of being delighted is something that is needless to be expressed, and I can tell you that the level of the happiness is something that words of mouth cannot express. As an elite, this will never be a reason or a ground for me to stop my children from going to school. Our call to the state and federal government is that, as the government that is saddled with the responsibilities of security of lives and properties of its citizens, let them emphasize on the issue of insecurity now, bedeviling the progress of the country.
27 boys and their teachers who were taken from a school in Kagara, Niger State, on the 17th of February were later released without a mention of payment or ransom. Authorities, however, voiced out that recent attacks on vulnerable students in schools in the northwest have been carried out by bandits. A loose term for kidnappers, armed robbers, cattle rustlers, Fulani herdsmen, and other armed militia operating in the region who are largely motivated by money.
I have taken the responsibility as Commander-in-Chief for you to go out into the field and secure the country. I have accepted responsibility for your actions in the field. It's up to you to identify your competent officers, irrespective of seniority and paper qualification, and deploy them to make sure that we secure this country.
On the 26th of February 2021, President Muhammadu Buhari, in a tweet, directed all state governments to review their policies of rewarding bandits with money and vehicle. He claimed that such acts have potential to backfire with disastrous consequences. He advised that they should invest more in improving security in and around the schools. It's a general belief that to tweak security infrastructure and governors who have little control over security in their state, the police and army are controlled by the federal government and have resorted to paying ransoms, have made mass abductions a lucrative source of income. In Zamfara state, the killing of alleged head of Fulani bandits in April 2013 laid a foundation to incessant kidnapping and attacks in the state. The bandits in splinter groups went further to establish 24 route networks across the 14 local government areas of the state, with 232 leaders and over 4,825 followers.
As a result of commitment of this administration to change the trend of a better society, has to restore the lost peace, glory of the state through initiating a peace and reconciliation accord. This accord has yielded a lot of achievement, such as rescue of over 1,000 victims across the state, and some armed bandits repented and embraced the peace accord, who surrender 148 weapons as well as 1,418 live of ammunition. The meeting has started yielding a positive result, whereas armed bandits has repented and surrendered 14 sophisticated weapons with large quantity of live ammunition and embrace fees. The repentant armed bandits have agreed to swear oath with the Holy Quran that they will never go back to armed banditry activities.
The peace accord was sustainable for the bandits for about 8 months, with the release of over 2,000 kidnapped victims aided and abated by the repentant bandits.
Some of them allege that their parents have been killed, their families have been killed, their cows have been carted away, and of course they have no option but to take up arms against innocent civilians to survive and to spite the people. And they are agreeing that they are going to surrender their arms if they will be pardoned, and then they will be resettled. So the governor has decided to embark on these Ruga projects, and for those who are not intending to go to the Ruga and stay, they can stay in the towns. The government has also provided the opportunity for them to own houses and stay in towns and villages along with people to live just like normal persons. And those who agree to be in the bush and continue with their grazing will be supplied with cows to start up their normal life like Fulani after they have surrendered their weapons. And that is exactly part of the policy of the carrot and stick approach being employed by the state government to ensure that banditry has come to an end.
The initiative was, however, scuttled with the resumed kidnap in the region. Nigerians and, of course, those in the opposition to the ruling party are not taking the insecure scenario and deteriorating security situation in the country lying low. Governors of the opposition party, People's Democratic Party Forum, assessing the situation, call for devolution of power and comprehensive restructuring of the country because of the sharp divide of Nigerians along ethnic and religious considerations, amongst others.
Time has come to take advantage of the ongoing constitutional amendment process to decentralize the security architecture of Nigeria and involve states and local governments. Consequently, the governors reaffirmed their conviction that an urgent devolution of powers and restructuring of the country in a way that brings together various groups and tendencies in the country appears to have become imperative and timely now, as Nigeria cannot afford another civil war. We call on the Revenue Mobilization, Allocation and Fiscal Commission to send a new revised revenue allocation formula that allocates more resources to the states and local governments to Mr. President for honored transmission to National Assembly for action. It is a scandal that 21 years after the 1999 Constitution came into being, no new revenue formula is in place. Furthermore, the meeting called for a more transparent and accountable running of the operation of the NNPC.
The 5 southeastern states of Anambra, Imo, Abia, Enugu and Ebonyi are faced with barrage of attacks on security architecture, leading to loss of infrastructure and sometimes life.
Governors of the Southeast, led by His Excellency Senator my governor in the state.
The quarterly Southeast Security Meeting held at the Government House in Owerri, the Imo State capital, is a rallying point for governors to assess the security situation of the region with a mission of coming out with a lasting solution.
And the resources
To strongly and unequivocally condemn terrorism and banditry in any part of Nigeria, particularly in Southeast. The meeting strongly condemns the burning of police stations, violent attacks on custodial centers with the unlawful release of inmates, and the killings including security personnel, natives, farmers, and herdsmen. That the 5 Southeast governors states are on the same page with the federal government on the issue of security challenges in the country. To this end, the meeting makes it absolutely clear that Southeast will stand resolutely with the federal government to fight terrorists and bandits to a standstill.
They came up with the idea to put up a new joint security outfit which will have its headquarters in Enugu State to ease coordination of activities of the local vigilantes.
To achieve this, there is a need to galvanize all the relevant stakeholders in the Southeast, the political class, the business class, the bureaucrats, and the intelligentsia to provide all necessary support to security operatives in the 5 Southeast states to ensure total success in the fight against criminality in the zone. We applaud the initiative of Southeast Security Summit, and to make it a statutory summit that we convene every quarter while its hosting shall rotate among the 5 Southeast states. The meeting resolved to maintain a joint security vigilante, which already has been formed in the 5 Southeast states for the Southeast, and the joint security outfit to coordinate the activities of our vigilante in the 5 South states shall from today be known and called a Bubago Joint Security Outfit for Southeast.
If well controlled and managed, the establishment of this joint security outfit named Ebubeagu for the people of the Southeast, just as it's been established a month ago in the Southwest, will no doubt complement efforts of the security agencies in abating crime in the zone. It's not the first time Gaydam community in Yobe State, Nigeria's northeast, will be under attack. This time, members of the dreaded Boko Haram terrorist group invaded the community, attacking residents. Gaydam community witnessed such attack in February, barely 24 hours after the new Chief of Army Staff, Ibrahim Atairu, visited troops in the battlefield days after his appointment. The victims alleged that a letter had earlier been circulated by the terrorists, luring the residents to support their course to establish a Muslim caliphate or get killed. Also in Kaduna State, Nigeria's northwest region, communities are being attacked on a weekly basis and students are kidnapped.
Our position in the Kaduna State government has been clear, unequivocal and consistent. Bandits, cattle rustlers and armed militias must be degraded and decimated to a state of unconditional submission to constituted authority. We will neither negotiate with criminals of any description, nor support any grant of amnesty to them. Criminal gangs, bandits, insurgents, and ethno-religious militias made a conscious choice and decision to challenge Nigeria's sovereignty and menace our citizens. These criminals must be wiped out immediately and without hesitation.
Just recently, 3 of the students abducted from the Greenfield University have been found dead. The whereabouts of the remaining 20 is still unknown, as the abductors are yet to make contact with their parents or state authorities. The bodies of the 3 students were found in Kwanan Bature village, a location close to the university, and have been evacuated to a mortuary.
I cannot express myself with words. My son was with me till on Tuesday morning. He returned to the school on Tuesday, only for me to hear on Wednesday that my son has been kidnapped. It is a nightmare. I have not slept. I have not eaten. I'm appealing to the public to assist us. The demand is unbearable. The amount is unthinkable. 800 million is unimaginable. I am appealing to the public, well-wishers, family, friends, everywhere, outside, inside, to please send their contributions before we lose more kids.
A day after, the Imo State Governor Hope Uzodinma paid a visit to the President Muhammadu Buhari at the State House in Abuja, where he expressed his views over the recent attacks in the state, challenging security agencies to make public names of politicians sponsoring banditry.
This country is blessed by God. From 2015 today, I thought what the problem would be. People saying that no job creation. People are not feeding. Salaries are not paid. Infrastructure are going down. Social interventions are not approved by government. These things are there available. A pass mark for the government of President Muhammad Buhari. Now, people are no longer talking about that. Rather, what they are doing is to sponsor crisis to the extent that those funding this banditry are politicians, which are challenge and call on security agencies to make their names available to the press. Because what they want to do is to distract a government that is focused. If this government is not doing well, I will be one of those that will first declare the government as not doing well. But a situation where you will leave the former way, ethical way of doing politics, and you are now sponsoring banditry to bring down a government, for Christ's sake, we should rise up and condemn it, all of us.
Hoodlums numbering about 15 allegedly driving in a motorcade accompanied by a tipper load with used tires stormed Omuma, the capital of Oru East and one of the oldest towns in Imo State. They attempted to burn down the house of Governor Uzodinma, killing 3 security operatives.
People are running, so I asked what is going on. They said people came to our governor's house to burn down this house. So I have to take cover. So after on my way coming back to my house, because this is my house. So I was coming back and I saw some gunmen. They surrounded me, and with my brother and other people we are together and collect our phones. And said they are coming back.
His Excellency has already directed that investigation on the matter should be expeditiously handled, and that both sponsors were applicable and the agents should be quickly apprehended and brought to justice. So that is where we are now, but there are some indications that it could have been politically sponsored. They attempted to attack it and probably with the aim of raising it down, but fortunately very gallant security operatives attached to the governor's house were able to repel the attempt, and so they did not succeed. In the process, gunfire ensued, and at least the security operatives were able to reasonably control the damage they wanted to cause. So the most important thing is that it was a foiled attempt to attack the governor's house. If you go to Omuma now, you will see that the governor's residence is standing firm and intact, so the attempt was repelled by gallant security operatives.
You can see, I've gone to the governor's house, gone his gateman house.
The governor of Ekiti State, Kayode Fayemi, believes that change of service chiefs alone is not enough to win the fight against insurgency. Other security challenges plaguing the country should be looked into.
And no one ever said that the change of service chiefs would automatically resolve all security challenges, because we need to look at the sociological underpinnings of these challenges themselves. And recently I've mentioned issues like inequality, issues of unemployment that are contributing to this. But we must also be tough on these crimes. We have not been tough enough on the crimes. We have not brought people responsible for this criminality to book as we ought to. And this brigandage will in the first instance stop when impunity stops. When that happens, then we can take on the broader socioeconomic challenges that are responsible for these crimes. It's a two-pronged process. Let us halt these problems first by taking on these enemies of progress, these enemies of our country who want to set us against one another, and then address questions of inequality, questions of unemployment, questions of fear and hatred being spread.
The recent abductions of vulnerable students across the northwest and northeastern parts of Nigeria calls for more attention. The unprecedented increase in violent attacks is defined as a sustained narrative among analysts that the south is relatively peaceful compared to the north, though the north is poorer and worse governed in some areas and has lower levels of human development. Nigerians certainly want peace. They want protection of their life and their property. They want to be able to move around and do their businesses. But how can this be achieved in the face of the insecurity incidents? Well, share your thoughts with us. We're always glad to hear from you. Send us a mail, send us a tweet, and we would read it out. Well, that's all for this episode of the program. I'm Ini John Mekwa.